Okay, here we go. All right, folks. Sorry I've been absent. I've been not feeling very well. I'm dealing with some health stuff. Usually happens after I do stuff like this, come under attack. Okay, I want to do a quick vid, very short vid about the continued mockery at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I'm going to give you guys a section from the Couch Commander skit that Mr. Obama did, and I'll let you guys just kind of consider it. After this video, I'm going to do a comprehensive video on all the commercials and Obama's speech, as well as the Queen and Obama at the Invictus Games commercial, and how they all have the same common denominator. And that's impossible. That is absolutely impossible. And I'm going to put them all together in the same reel so you can do a compare and contrast and see how all these things have the same common denominator. A new race of beings and nuclear attack. They all have the same thing in it. So look for that as the next video. For right now, let's watch Obama talk about Michele, or as it may be, Michael. But before we watch the Couch Commander from the White House Correspondents' Dinner, let's watch a couple other vids of that are pertinent to this skit that Obama did. So let's watch Joan Rivers.
Mr. Rivers, how are you? You made a ton of news officiating the wedding in New York yesterday. Is this like a new cottage career move for you?
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And I should do very well because I don't joke.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman
We
president?
already have it with Obama.
Okay. Do you think the United States will see the first gay president? Joan Rivers said, we already have it with Obama. Okay, he legalized gay weddings. He is an advocate for homosexuality, but he said he's a Christian. Complete contradiction.
So let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michele is a trend.
Now, Miss Rivers just offered that information on her own. She said, we all know Michele is a tranny. She just threw that out there. Okay, well, you know, there's a lot of speculation about whether or not Michele Obama is a transsexual, and there's a lot of evidence to suggest that she is. Now, I want to be very careful because I have not seen Michele Obama naked. However, in my opinion, if I had to take an educated guess, I would say yes, it's transgender, but she's got male parts also. That would be my best guesstimate. But then we're going to look at this dinner, White House Correspondents' Dinner. So keep watching.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. It's okay.
Okay, so she says she's a transgender. We all know it. It's okay. Okay, well, oddly enough, Miss Rivers died very shortly after this interview, and from something that was absolutely a no-brainer, minor procedure, but she ended up dead. Her family doesn't believe that it was just a natural thing, that she was murdered. Okay, so let's keep moving. So here's Barack Obama giving a speech to a bunch of, military guys and dignitaries, and he just happens to call Michele Michael. Now, I know I'm a guy and I've had girlfriends, and I know that it would be absolutely impossible for me to call my girlfriend Michael. There's just no way. I mean, you don't call a girl Michele Michael unless there's some connection to her actually being Michael. That's called a Freudian slip. So let's listen.
Men and women of the finest military in the world. Most of all, Admiral Mullen, Deborah, Michael and I.
He said, Michael and I, and then he kept going. Let me get the full clip for you. Okay, here's the same clip. I'm going to play it out a little bit so you can see how he stutters and how he tries to recover. Let me tell you something. If you call your wife Michael and her name's Michele and you don't correct it, then something's not right. I mean, it's just not right. So let's watch.
And men and women of the finest military in the world. Most of all, Admiral Mullen, Deborah, Michael and I also want to acknowledge your son.
Did you hear him stutter? Did you hear him try and recover? He could not. He knew he had made a mistake, and he tried to recover, and he went, and he knew that he couldn't go back and fix it. So that's obvious that he is calling his wife Michael. Let's one more time.
Of the finest military in the world. Most of all, Admiral Mullen, Deborah. Michael and I also want to acknowledge your son Jack, who's deployed today.
Okay, so that's just the evidence. Okay, now let's look at some other evidence. Okay, here's some other evidence. Let's just look at it real quick that would suggest that Michele is a transsexual with male parts.
President, does anything scare him?
You know, well, when Michelle's mad,
Well, was he saying Michael, or what was he saying there? It sure sounded to me like he was trying to utter the words Michael again and caught himself. Just more evidence. Let's look at this evidence. This is Michelle Obama. I mean, wearing a dress. I'm sorry, but if that doesn't look like a vagina in a dress, that looks like something anchored down. I'm just telling you, that's my opinion. It does not look female. So let's just look at some evidence. And then I'm going to go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. So this is just all evidence that suggests that Michelle Obama is really a transgender with male parts. That's pretty big. Look at the shoulders. Okay, so anyway, this is just evidence. You guys go look at your own evidence. But let me show you what he said during the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Okay, so here we go. Okay, now listen, I get it that this is supposed to be a joke. Well, first of all, just like the red wedding thing, that's not something you joke about. You don't make a joke about the opposing party won't let you do stuff, and then you make a joke about sealing the doors and a reference to a red wedding scene from Game of Thrones where everybody is violently murdered. That's off limits. You're the president of the United States of America. You don't make jokes like that. That is off limits. But he did it. And so let's look at what his little joke is about Michelle, and let's just try and reason it out. Let's watch.
Michelle can stay closer to her plot of carrots. She's already making plans to see them every day. Take a look.
Okay, so she's watering her carrots. Well, first of all, those aren't carrots. What you're looking at right there are turnips. Let me show you some turnip leaves. These are turnip leaves right here. If you don't believe me, go look up turnip leaves. Go look up, there's different forms of turnip leaves. These are turnip leaves. And so she's watering turnip leaves. They said carrots, but let's look at carrots, and let me show you what carrot leaves look like. So if she's tending to her carrots, why don't they look like carrots? These are carrot leaves right here. These look absolutely nothing like these. So he just said she's going to keep an eye on her carrots. Well, I don't want to get graphic or dirty or anything. I'm just going to click on this and show you there's a lot of really filthy stuff that carrots can mean. And I don't want to read it over the radio. You can go look it up for yourself. It is a reference to a penis. And there's a lot of really, really dirty stuff associated with the word carrot. So she wants to keep an eye on her carrots. Well, I don't know if you think that's funny or something. I don't see any humor in it. However, if she really is a transgender, well, then I can see a joke in it, right? There's a joke there if she's really a transgender. Or is he just making fun of the fact that people have said she's a transgender? Well, let's look at the image. Michelle Obama is in a very interesting position, isn't she? That's a very unusual position. She's hanging down from like wires with a black suit on, which reminds me of something I've seen before. Let's look at the body position. Okay, so she's in the identical body position. And when I say identical, I do mean identical. Body position and clothing as Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. So somehow Mission Impossible fits into this thing, and carrots fit into this thing. And is Obama saying that they pulled off Mission Impossible because she's really a transgender? Is that why he's making a reference to carrots? She wants to keep an eye on her carrots? But she's really watering turnips. Well, did you know turnips have a very derogatory meaning too? And a turnip there's several definitions, and it's a derogatory term for a gay man. A turnip is. She's watering turnips. And you're going to see a turnip again in this video that he did. She's watering turnips. And a turnip is a derogatory term for a gay man. And it also means someone who's a real idiot with limited intelligence. Like just fell off the turnip truck. It means like a country bumpkin that came to the big city that has absolutely no clue. Like a complete idiot. So they've worked turnips and carrots into this gag, and Michelle Obama in a position of Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. There it is. Look, there it is. You're looking at it. So that is the intent. The intent was to get a Mission Impossible statement out of this, and the intent was to put carrots in there, and we also have these turnips. Well, let's just see what the turnip thing is about here. Okay, in this scene right here, in the same video, Couch Commander's little parody, he goes to the DMV to get a driver's license. Well, obviously, he's making fun of the fact that his birth certificate came under such scrutiny. Well, it's been proven to be a fraud. Even the one from whitehouse.gov. It is proven to be a fraud. Nobody knows where he came from. I did a video on one of 7 billion people on planet Earth named Loretta Fuddy. Happens to be in the same cult from Cebu, Indonesia, that his mom's a member of. She happened to be appointed director of health for Hawaii, and she's the one that signed his birth certificate. And out of the 7 billion people on planet Earth, she mysteriously died in a plane wreck. Yeah. That's believable, isn't it? So anyway, so now he's in the driver's license office. He wants to get a driver's license, but he's going to need a birth certificate. Well, we all know it's fake, so he's making a joke about it. But let's see what happens during the joke.
Well, since you don't have a driver's license, you're going to need a birth certificate.
Really?
Really?
It's real.
Is it?
It's real.
But is it?
Now, I noticed she's wearing all purple, and I also noticed that her name's Cat. And I noticed on the wall behind her, there's a cat hanging on the wall. I know that there's also a British villain's commercial where he says, release the cats, the Antichrist figure. Combined aerial target systems. Maybe.
Oh, Michele.
Oh, Michelle left her phone. He just says, Michelle left her phone. What's on her phone? What is that on her phone? What's on Michelle's phone? Let's go have a look real quick. Michelle has an image of something on her phone. Let's see. I went and found this on Google Images right here. You see that turnip? Let's go ahead and enlarge it. That's a Google image search for turnips. There it is. That's a turnip. So, oddly enough, Michelle left her phone at the DMV. And let's see. There you go. And there's a side-by-side image of Michelle's phone that she left at the DMV that Obama's picking up right there. Does that look like a turnip? That's a turnip. So what is the inferred meaning behind the turnip? Well, I told you. A turnip can mean a gay, it's a derogatory term for a gay man, and it also means a complete idiot. Now, are they making a parody that we're complete idiots, that they got away with the birth certificate thing? Or are they just making another reference to Michelle Obama pulling off Mission Impossible, that she's really a transgender and she's in the White House and the President of the United States is a sodomite that has a transgender wife and has fooled the entire world and the entire nation? That would be Mission Impossible, wouldn't it? That looks like the obviousness of what's going on. So anyway, I'm going to post this video. I want to show you one last thing, though. Did you know that Barack Obama wanted to make a national monument out of a gay bar? Did y'all know that? At the end of his presidency now, by the way, he's not going anywhere. At the end of his presidency, he wants to make a gay bar a national monument. Let's take a look. Okay, so here's an image of the Stonewall Inn. It's a gay bar in Manhattan. Manhattan's making it a landmark. And Obama has said this is going to be a national monument. I want you guys to look at this bar for a second. I want you to look at the orientation of these arches, because the devil is in the details. Remember that. So here's one arch right here. Well, here's another arch over here. Well, look at the arch that they put in the middle. You see it? What's really interesting is the way they put these colors of the rainbow. They look like pillars, don't they? They also look like DNA markers. But what's most interesting about it is, if you look at the orientation of the arches, look, arch here, arch in the middle, and an arch here. Does that remind you of anything? The Arch of Triumph, maybe? Okay, so do you see any resemblance in three arches here? See any resemblance? They're identical. And this one's the Arch of Bel, the devil. So, Michelle has decided to stay on to keep an eye on her carrots. Ha ha, that's funny. And water her turnips. Ha ha, that's funny. It truly was Mission Impossible, wasn't it? Good job. Good job. That's really funny stuff. All right, guys. The next video, I'm going to do a compare and contrast. I'm going to show you how all these commercials, Bud Light, Jaguar, BMW, Maserati, and Barack Obama at the White House Correspondents' Dinner and the Invictus Games all have the same common denominator: a new race of beings taking over and nuclear devastation coming towards you. Okay?